Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Burney are a 3-year-old Kentucky Derby prep race at Santa Anita on Saturday is race number 2. It's at 1 mile and a 16th. It's the Grade 3 Robert B. Lewis Stakes. 10 Kentucky Derby points on the line. As we take a look at the field, I have to ask you, Matt, where are the horses?
I mean, I was going to ask you, is this the earliest sort of scheduled graded stakes race for 3-year-olds in the history of all prep races for the Kentucky? This is race 2.
Race number 2.
On a
Keep
9
it out
race
of the
card.
pick 6.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where I do wonder if there are going to be connections in Southern California 3 months from now. There are going to be 2 or 3 points on the outside looking in for a slot in the starting gate for the Derb. And they're going to look back and say, we couldn't have run third.
And then you get your points, and that could make or break you at the end of the day as it turns to points getting into the Kentucky Derby. The number 1 in this field is Royal Mo. It's a Moss Sheriff's production. It's a son of Uncle Mo. It cost a lot of money at auction, $300,000. Supposedly he's a big horse. He's been crying out for ground all this time, and he got a 2-turn test most recently at Del Mar. I thought he made a very easy lead against a questionable field, but he polished it off well enough. He's now paired up by her tops, and maybe he's just growing into that big body. Plus, he could be the controlling speed.
That's probably the most important thing for me, that he's drawn nearest the rail. He is the speed nearest the rail. I didn't love the race that he broke as maiden, and he was early to change leads a little bit on the far turn, and I thought he was kind of getting short at the end. Now, maybe that was just the first time that he stretched out and he didn't know what he was doing, but I don't know. I just don't feel like this horse is one that I'm chomping at the bit to get in there and say, you know what, I think he's a prime contender to go gate the wire. He might wire this field, but at a short price, I'm not sold on what I've seen. If he wins, I'm not going to break my, soul.
Here's the Royal Mo formulator fact for Sheriffs. Over the past 5 years, last out maiden winners on dirt. Not too many horses, 25% though, a $2.91 return on investment. Royal Mo is going to show speed in all likelihood. I'm expecting IRAP to show speed with the blinkers on. Mario Gutierrez, Doug O'Neill, yet another Redham Racing production. And we've talked about this. So he's run only 4 times. It seems like we've been talking about him forever. He's the half to Speightstown.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they debuted him on turf, and they ran him again 2 turns on turf. Then they threw him in the Los Al Futurity, and he ran quite well in the Los Al Futurity against the undefeated Mastery. Last time out, was it simply a situation like a wet track?
That's the built-in excuse. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it goes back to why was he on turf to begin with, and we've seen Los Alamitos do weird things for better or for worse with certain horses. He's just the kind of horse now that I look at and go, well, okay, you couldn't sniff sheer flattery most recently. Your best race to date came at Los Alamitos, and prior to that you were on turf. I don't want to take too short a price on you, even though you've got a beautiful pedigree. I don't trust him.
Maybe the blinkers will help, because if you remember in the Los Al Futurity, very late to change leads, a little bit goofy last time out. Maybe the wet track went against him. I'm expecting at least some speed this time. He could keep Royal Mo honest and maybe help another horse or 2 in here. One of the true closers, and probably the best closer in the race, is the 3 Dangerfield. This horse 3rd in the Delta Jackpot, finished behind IRAP in the Los Al Futurity. He's now earned 3 consecutive buyers of 71. Improvement coming, or has he hit his peak?
I'm of the opinion that I'm drawing a line through each one of the past 2 races, and it sounds silly because he's hit the board in graded stakes races in each one of those. I think the real race that's most representative is 3 back, Oak Tree at Pleasanton when he ran in that Oak Tree Juvenile. The reason I say this, Los Alamitos, it looks like on paper he's going to come from 150 out of it. Maybe he is. Maybe I'm just entirely wrong. I mean, he was chasing 45 and change most recently.
Right.
2 back, he was chasing 46 flat on a bull ring. Draw a line through that. Then you get a race with a little bit more of a representative pace. I get that was borderline slow up there, but I don't think they're going to be going crazy early on. I think he's going to be a little bit closer. It's just a matter of, I don't love anyone in this race. I don't think any of them are all that good right now. Doesn't mean they can't be good. I think of all the O'Neills, he's the one that I'm most interested in.
IRAP in Dangerfield, trained by Doug O'Neill, as is Term of Art. IRAP blinkers on. Term of Art blinkers off. He won the Cecil B. DeMillan off the turf race at Del Mar on November the 27th. That was kind of a slow race. He showed up in the Sham. He was overmatched against Gormley. It just seems like they're really intent to keep going on with this horse. The horse that finished directly in front of him in the Sham came back to win, but on turf with an 81 Beyer speed figure, I think he needs a little bit of pace up, because unlike Dangerfield, I think he has to come from far back.
Agreed. I think he is the ultimate sort of one-run closer. Now, the jury is out if he's still any good, but boy, we talk about it. You want to see Connections handle him like a good horse? They have handled him like he's a good horse from jump. I don't know how good he actually is. We'll find out. He's going to need some help, though, up front.
The 5 Sheer Flattery has earned 2 Beyer speed figures of 83. That would be certainly good enough, you would think, to win this race. Sheer Flattery, last time out, he stretched out for the first time. He set a nice spot on the outside, and he gave a lot of ground turning into the stretch while the runner-up shot on through down towards the inside. It was a nice, solid game performance. He's got tactical ability. If you think it just wasn't the wet track, this horse has run well on dirt in the past. In many ways, this horse is the horse to beat.
Yeah, I think he is, and I think he goes off favored in this spot. I don't know how heavy, but I think he will be the favorite. The outside post, I think you sit just off of whoever decides to go early on from the inside. I'm not going to be surprised if he runs well and wins. It's just one of those things, you know, you talk about what Harvey always says, don't bet a favorite doing something for the first time. At the end of the day, it's a fact. He's only won on a wet track. I'm not suggesting he can't run on a fast track because he's run well enough in those other maiden races. Until he does it 2 turns on dry dirt, I'm not going to be taking him at too short a price. It is worth noting, though. I mean, look at some of the other horses he's run into. He's run into some good ones. He ran into American Anthem, So Conflated, Mastery. He's probably the most likely winner.
Which makes me think he's going to go off way less than those
Agreed.
2-to-1 morning line odds in this 5-horse field. Top pick time for the Robert B. Lewis. You're going to go with Dangerfield, 7-2 on the morning line in this race. You're looking for some gas up front. I'm hoping that Royal Mo can maybe get out there, dissuade IRAP, and then Victor works his magic.
Yeah, you know, again, we talk about it so often, particularly on DRF Live. Route races at Santa Anita, speed can kill. Whether you may be the most talented horse in the race or not is kind of against the point. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
If you have speed, you've got a big chance. Won't stun me at all if he goes gate to wire. It's one of those things where I'm not enamored with him.
3-5-1 for Matt. 1-5-2 and 3 for me. In the Grade 3, Robert B. Lewis for 3-year-olds at Santa Anita. It has an approximate post time of 1 o'clock Pacific. Best of luck.